Hello, everybody. Let's talk. Okay, I realize now, after doing this for so long, that quite often I don't have actual subjects. I have ranting between subjects. So, welcome to another of Dave's Rant. Okay, first things first. To all you wonderful people who think you have to tell the rest of the world how to behave, and I'm not talking about the woke, I'm talking about, see, I have people in my circle of life that like to take charge of situations involving other people. They will tell people what job they should get, or what or they'll come to somebody's party and tell them how to, or getting ready for their party, and tell them how they should get ready for their party. Tell somebody how to, how they should do their wedding, how they should. And there are people out there that are professionals at this, and I understand that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people who go out of their way to infiltrate themselves into something that somebody else is doing. Now, I don't want to name names because, it's rude. But they're out there. They're out there going, I'm going to do it my way, even though it's your project. I'm going to make you do it my way, even though it's your project. So, to all those people, leave people alone. If I'm going to do something my way, I don't need you to tell me what my way is. I can figure it out. I got a birthday coming up. If I want to plan a birthday party for myself, and I don't, but if I did, I would want to put in my input into my party. I wouldn't want somebody who I'm not even inviting to tell me how to do it. So that's one. Two, Epstein Island. Oh my goodness. Epstein's Island has been purchased and construction is now underway for a Christian retreat on the grounds of Epstein Island. What? The guy that bought it said, it's a place of darkness and I want to bring the light of Christ to it. Bravo and all that, but what? Oh my goodness. In a joking manner, and this is not intended to offend, but I don't care if it does. Is it a Catholic thing? Are you going to have altar boys there? I'm just asking. Rude? Yes, I am. So, I guess next thing on my rant is the cover-ups. They're still happening. You all can't see what's right in front of you because they want you to think it's more important to know, to know who's dancing with the stars or who's winning or losing the Olympics. Don't get me wrong. I'm in favor of those Olympic athletes. They are very, very brave. And from where they started to where they are now, I think it's very, very, a little bit off of what it was originally intended to be. Originally it was a bunch of Greeks playing naked, but originally when the Olympics became organized, it was always advertised as amateur athletes. You didn't have, people from the NFL or the NBA or the MLB in the Olympics because they weren't amateur, they were professional. That, at some point in time, has went out the window. But it's still, I find it very brave for them to compete, and my hat is off to them. But, getting back on the subject, It's not more important than the lives that are being lost in Iran, in Gaza. These places are having people die on a regular basis, and our media coverage says, that, Donald Trump's on the Epstein files. Oh my gosh. Would you stop? Your mom's not here. Grandson, he's a great co-pilot. Yes, Lyle, I'm talking about you. So mainstream media has their warped and demented ideas of what people should know, and they don't vary. They don't vary from their programmed illusion. They don't want you to think. They don't want you to look in other places for your news or for the facts, because if you look up the facts, you will find out things that they have told you are the opposite of the facts. More people have been found out and have come forward about the 2020 election, for example, but you're not going to hear that on mainstream media because they don't want you to think about what happened in 2020. They want you to focus on their agenda, their choices. They want you to focus on the fact that, yes, we are going to impeach Donald Trump again. Okay, you're going to attempt to impeach Donald Trump because you can't really impeach him. You never can attempt because he was never impeached in the first place. Impeach kind of means you won, you didn't. In the immortal words of the Tom McDonald song, you missed. Not only when you were all shooting at him, but when you were all trying to impeach him too. You missed. And no, I'm not doing my hardline Trump thing, but I'm a Trump supporter. Anybody wants to hate me for that, get on board. Write me a, nasty comment or hit the anger button or share my video saying this guy's a lunatic. When I was younger, growing up in the 70s and 80s, my brother once said to me that my musical hero at the time, Prince, he said, "Isn't he that queer one?" Love you, John. And I got all kinds of defensive. I got all kinds of, he's not queer, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, I don't know if he was or not, but it didn't matter because it was my interpretation of my brother's statement. Mom. It wasn't actually his sexuality at test. My brother meant, isn't he that queer one, as in strange. Oops, my bad. And that's what's going on now. People are throwing names, and they're just names. You can call me a MAGA. That's a name. You can call me blind. You can call me sheep. They're just names. But I'm not blind. I do my research. I look at several. My normal, if you were to check out my normal viewing modes for getting my news, you'd find, places from other parts of the world, like Sky Australia. I watch their news quite often because I want to know the truth. I don't want what the mainstream media in America has to say. I want to know the other side of the story too. And they don't allow that. They don't. Mainstream media wants you to only believe what they tell you is the truth. I do watch mainstream media, by the way. Just so you all know. I do give them a fair shake. They're lying, but I give them a fair shake. Then I get people who I know are smart enough to know better. They come at me because mainstream media has gotten in their head. If you're going to debate something with somebody, I want the first thing for you to understand is you are arguing simply to argue. That is what debating is, number one. Number two, and probably equally as important, is it's not life or death. It's just a debate, just a common-sensual conversation between two educated persons, or at least one educated person, to find the answers that are somewhere in between. So when you come at me telling me that Trump is a pedophile, and I tell you he's not, and we start talking about it, that's a debate. When we start arguing about it rationally, that's still a debate. However, most of the people who want to argue with me about things are not rational. They're irrational. They try to force their view of things down my throat. I am a Christian. That means I believe in Jesus Christ and the Almighty. That means I believe in the Word of God. You don't agree with me? That's fine. I have people in my family who are other religions. And we can sit down and talk about it. I don't mind. I've got some Christians who are so far over on the Christian side that they want to debate with me, and that's fine. I'm a minister, and I'm okay with that. Yes, I'm an ordained minister of Christ, and I am more than willing to sit down with people and talk, because I'd rather talk than hate. We've come a long way in the wrong way over my lifetime. I saw a meme the other day. It says, if you were born in the 70s, I was born in the 60s. It says you've been through, 5 decades. 70s, the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010. Now you're in 20s. Okay, so that's actually 6 decades. I've been through like 7, or been in 7 decades. And you're still in your 50s. Yes, I am still in my 50s. Only for a few more months, but still. It says you've been in 2 millennia and 2 centuries. Yep. 2 different millennia and 2 different centuries. That is true, too. And in that time, I have seen, yes, a lot of things go to crap. Words that have changed their meaning so drastically that they don't even remotely stand for what they originally stood for. Let's take a look at the alphabet mafia, for example. When I was young, when I was real young, gay meant happy. Then gay meant homosexual. But it was a slur, it was an insult to call somebody gay. Queer used to mean, like my brother said, weird, unusual, strange. Now it means some sort of gay. And I'm not going to push buttons or, split hairs on which version of gay, because, does it matter which form of homosexual or, shall we say, unusual erotica you're in? It can be considered queer. Different, weird. But just because somebody has a different view than you does not mean that you're wrong, and it does not mean that they're right. Don't fight, talk. And don't hate, love. Love to all. I'll definitely be talking to you tomorrow.